Yo, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to tell you exactly what it's like to own a Ferrari F430 2007 in a sick color, Grigio Silverstone with camel interior. I bought one right around when I turned 30 years old, and this car was sick. So basically this was like my dream car, right? And I'd wanted it since I was a kid, ever since I seen the movie The Rock, 1996 movie with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. There was a yellow Ferrari chase scene right when I was like maybe 8, 9 years old. And I was like, man, ever since I saw that movie, I was like, man, I really want a Ferrari. And my whole life I thought, okay, if I can get a Ferrari one day, that means I really, really, really made it. And anyway, so in 2017, I sacked it up and I spent about $136,000 on a Ferrari. I'll show you the check right here. And I paid for it in cash, which I don't know if that was a really good idea, but I didn't really want to make payments or anything. And financing with Ferrari is a little bit difficult. But in this video, I'm going to give you my review, everything that I dealt with, like owning it, everything, what it was like building up to it, having it, knowing it was mine, driving it, what changed, did I get more girls, did people treat me different, did my life change? Did I change? What happened? Like, was it a status bump? What it was like maintaining it? Should I have bought it, with 100, all cash? The car was about, I'll show you the sticker price of the original. It was about $250,000. And since it was 10 years old, since I got it it was 2007, I got it in 2017. It only had 7,500 miles on it. So realistically, it only been driven 800 miles a year, and it was like pristine. I'd shopped around a ton of places. I'd shopped in Southern California. I'd shopped at like Eurocar, and I'd shopped at some other places. And finally, I ended up actually buying it from Newport Ferrari, from a guy in Newport Ferrari. And it just, it just was about, it was just a pristine car. So they didn't really bring in cars that were like as bad as some other places. So anyway, I'll take you through the whole entire thing, and I'll show you videos and photos of the car and a lot of other stuff, me driving around with my friends, me like with some pictures in it and doing some other stuff. I'll just show like some random pictures. I'll have to look on my computer right here. It's actually like right here. Like some stuff that like came in it, what the engine looked like in the back, Oh, I think I made a video of exactly what I was like saying. It's funny looking at this. I actually made a video of like what it was like, oh man, I bought the Ferrari. Actually, I bought it, but all right, we're driving up to Newport Ferrari. Gonna buy a Ferrari. My checkbook. A little nervous. Never really bought anything that expensive before, but what is it, November 5th, 2017. Alright, let's do this. Alright, I did it. Why not? Was sick. Like, did it make things a little bit easier for me to do certain things in the world? And I'll tell you everything. So stay tuned. In order for me to, the funniest thing about buying this car was that a year before that, when I was buying my BMW, I had actually, when I was at this place, searching for my BMW, I saw a guy actually roll up, and he literally, they had like an F430. I didn't know what kind of Ferrari it was at the time. And this guy was buying a Rancho Santa Fe. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I could have that car one day. And so I took a picture of it. I'll show you the picture right now. It was a little bit different interior. And I was like, oh man, one day I would love to buy this car. Well, guess what? Within a year, I think maybe a year and a half, not anymore. I actually had enough money. I was like, oh my God. I was driving down Torrey Pines in La Jolla one day, and I'm like, oh man, I could buy a Ferrari right now. And I was like, let's buy a Ferrari. And I'm like, whoa, really? Really? A Ferrari? Like, oh my God, it's my dream car. Oh my God, that's it. That's my life is complete. I have a Ferrari. So anyway, I shopped around for a few months, and I was trying to figure out the best Ferrari to buy. And I quickly realized the 2007 F430 Ferrari Grigio Silverstone with camel interior was my best bet. It's convertible too. And I didn't get the 2008, and the 2008 is actually a better car because it has ceramic brakes. You don't have to replace them. The 2007, you actually have to replace the brakes. And so I just couldn't afford the 2008. I couldn't spend the extra 20 grand on a 2008 model. And The thing is that the 2007 also, and you definitely want to get the convertible. You don't want to get the coupe either because, I mean, it's a Ferrari, right? So you want to be able to put the top down. Now, it's a soft top. It's not a hard top like the future ones. And with the 2007 Ferrari, you're also going to have a clutch. So that clutch is also going to wear. And when you need to replace that, it's going to be expensive. So I'll walk you through exactly what it was like. So I owned the car for about a year and a half, and typically the average person drove it only 800 miles. Well, I drove it actually 4,000 miles. I drove it 4 or 5 times more than the average person because I knew I was going to drive it a lot. I put like, I can't remember. I drove it a lot. I drove it a lot more than normal, and I mashed it around, and I had a lot of fun with it. And by the time I got rid of it and sold it, I sold it for... some guy was almost about to pay me $100,000, but they actually ended up only giving me $95,000 because they knew I went on a trip and drove it a little further. And in all honesty, actually, some things actually were going like it's so funny. You drive like a normal car, like a Camry or a Toyota. Things don't go wrong like every 500,000 miles. Well, guess what? Every single 500 or 1,000 miles, something went wrong. Every single time. And I did not go to the Ferrari dealership, but it still wasn't cheap. I mean, I was definitely going on the cheap side of it. But I'm telling you, some weird things were going on. Like the reverse button, it's like a button you click, and it's supposed to go in reverse. It stopped going in reverse. So I'm literally driving a Ferrari at some points, and I'm literally I'm literally stuck, and I can't go in reverse. It was really I just felt like, wow, I'm driving a Ferrari and my shit doesn't go in reverse. It was a joke. And not just that, I mean, other things would go wrong. And I can't exactly remember what went wrong, but I remember right before I got rid of it, there was something in the manifold, the manifold broke, and they were telling me it was going to be $20,000 or something, or some ridiculous amount. But basically, in all honesty, the car is literally not made, it's not a very good car. I started realizing that it's like a toy car. That my whole entire life, that I was actually manipulated by all the advertisements and everything in the world. At least that car, and it wasn't that comfortable. The stereo system was terrible. I had to go through hell to burn a CD. I had to figure out how to burn a CD and put music on a CD because that's all it played. And I literally, it was definitely a money pit. I didn't have to pay that much on the insurance and the registration and stuff. Decent amount, but realistically, the car things went wrong constantly on it. They're not made very well. And I think that's why the newer ones, they, have the warranties, and I think they might be made a little bit better, but they do have full warranties or I think 7-day warranties. Don't quote me on that, but I'm telling you, the F430 Ferrari is literally, I feel like it's more put together with super glue. I mean, that's a stretch, but I will say that it is not a well-made car. It's not like a BMW. It's not like a Toyota. It's not like anything. It's like something that goes wrong every 500,000 miles, and that's not, the cars should not be like that. And I think honestly, maybe Ferrari just spends all their money on marketing and they don't actually maybe back in the day, they didn't polish up their stuff. It's just kind of ridiculous. So it was quite a moment when I bought it. Man, I'm telling you, my adrenaline was rushing for a few months. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I owned a Ferrari outright. It was the biggest thing in my entire life. I literally, it was crazy. It was crazy, especially if you don't own a Ferrari and it's something that you want one day. I think that it's something that you have to go through in your life. You definitely, personally, as if you really wanted a Ferrari ever since you were a kid and you have the money to buy it, do it. But just know, eventually, after a certain amount of time, it's not as cool as you actually think. It's cool, but it's not that as important to me. More it, just takes up a second parking space. If I had a lot of parking spaces and I had a lot of money that I didn't care about, I'd get another one. But if my money was tight, I shouldn't have bought one back in the day. $136,000 was a lot of money to me, and I spent it all on the car. Luckily I was able to get 95 back out of it. I'd probably spend another 15 on it. And just miscellaneous stuff. So, I probably paid $50,000 to have it for a year and a half. And was it worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. It was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. People definitely treated me different when I would go to places, and, some girls did recognize it a little bit, and it did build it, make them a little bit more attracted to me. But, I'm sure you could probably do other things, have a really nice, place where you live. Anyway, so basically, that's my review of owning a Ferrari F430 2007. I think obviously if you're going to own a Ferrari, I mean, it's honestly, you probably want to get like a newer one. The only problem is that they're kind of expensive. They're in like the several $100,000 range, but then you won't have to replace the brakes, the clutch. The maintenance might not be as bad, but still, you're still going to have crazy maintenance on it because these cars, like I said, they're not like built like incredibly like a Toyota. Like you're not going to be able to, you could get a brand new Toyota. You could drive that Toyota other than oil change for like 50,000 miles with like nothing going on potentially. You get a Ferrari, that thing's going to need maintenance like very, very, very routinely. And you're not even supposed to drive it that much. And with every mile, I think it was, it depreciated like $2.80 for every single like mile I drove. I mean, it was a little crazy, but it's definitely something, I wouldn't take back. Like I wouldn't say, oh, I would never buy the Ferrari, because it was sick. And, if you're going to get a Ferrari, I feel like, red's a stretch because Grigio Silverstone's pretty badass. And that camel interior is pretty cool too. But anyway, that's my review of the Ferrari F430 2007. If you like the information at all that I said in this video, please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and I will make another video in the future detailing some experience of something that might provide you value in your life. See ya.